That's why you're not the host, Tim. You wiener. You were so close.
That was such a great intro.
That was such a good intro, and you fricked it all up.
I really timmed her down.
You pulled a big old Charlie all over that one, bud.
Yeah.
Wow. Guess what? It's my show again. It's me, because I'm the host. Mm-hmm. Welcome, true believers, to the one and only MCP Side Chick show that you're texting while you're in the bathroom taking a poop.
Mm-hmm. It's a shame that you do have to text us in the bathroom, too, while you're listening to some of the better Marvel Crisis Protocol vlogs out there. But listen, if you do it while they're in the room, it's always a risk.
It's always a risk.
It's not worth risking it.
Yes. That's why you always mark them management.
Correct.
Yep.
And if you are like sitting on the couch with them
mm-hmm.
and you're facing away, they know you're hiding the screen of your phone. So just don't do it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The danger room will never truly understand.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Speaking of danger room, I am the giant floating head of Oz of the Professional Casual Network. I'm Chuck. Thanks for having me back on your show, man.
Listen, you know,
especially Chucky 2-time.
Chucky 2-time.
Chucky 2-time's here, yes. Baby. Look at that.
You know, sometimes you have guests. Sometimes they all bail on you, and you need to ring up an X.
Old,
you know what I mean?
Old booty called Charlie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there I am. I, of course, am the guy who sits in this chair. I am Chuck, and I am joined once again by the CEO, Editor-in-Chief, Supreme Ruler, and Reptilian Overlord, the Professional Casual Network, and the guy with the computer who's still trying to change settings.
Oh, you know, people move every week from where they normally are.
To be in their defense, there are no markers on the ground. If we put like little pieces of tape, I know where I'm supposed to be.
You know, I can tell you actually very specifically from other shows on this network, it does not matter how many times we order markers, they never arrive.
That's actually true. Yep.
So
that is true. Also, it's been a while since I've been on the show.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
What are you cosplaying as like literally somebody else?
Yes.
It's no beard, no glasses.
Yeah,
you get LASIK or something.
People don't know who I am, honestly, because I don't have the old Clark Kent disguise on.
Yeah.
So.
Which I want to get to.
Okay.
But you know what? Screw it. Right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler free at this moment in time.
Ooh.
But I saw Eternals.
Oh, I have not.
Okay. So real quick, the thing about Eternals that you need to know, Superman, canon in the Marvel Universe now.
Oh.
They make 2 references to Superman.
Oh.
And I don't understand why nobody else is like freaking out about it.
There is a reference in a very early MCU movie.
Yeah.
Back when every superhero movie was like, oh, what do you think? Superheroes just come out and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Where a kid was reading comics.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I just find it really interesting that they literally...
They actually said it.
They say Superman.
Yeah.
And then they go, what are we supposed to call you, Clark now?
Oh, wow.
Like, it's super... I'm very surprised they
a
went
lot more
with
direct than an offhand.
Yeah. No, it was, like, very direct.
Okay.
I was very surprised. Also, Icarus definitely has some, like, Homelander vibes. And I was just like, is this the same guy? Like, I'm very confused.
Yeah.
He was like international Homelander, like, vibes. It's actually really good. Go see it. It's definitely worth the matinee price.
When I hear International Homelander, I can only think of that gif of Homelander blasting that dude through that other dude and just being like...
Yeah, that happens from time to time. Yep.
When he has wind powers.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It was actually really good. Go see it. Definitely worth the matinee. Definitely see it in theaters.
Yep.
You need the full screen.
Yeah.
And the Celestials are fucking dope. They did a really good job of those.
All right.
So yeah, it's well worth it for the matinee. Tim,
yes.
We of course are the Professional Casual Network presents. Wait, did I roll a wild in Marvel Crisis Protocol vlog? What are we talking about this week, man? You're the host.
So we're talking about the custom crisis that we ran this past week, Tactical Taylor and I, on the power phase. We are talking about the Black Order update, as well as the 2 gems, which we have updates for as well. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to fill a bunch of dead time.
Cool. Love that. Really glad I went with the Eternals right off the bat, buddy.
Yeah.
And that's why we don't do any notes. Let's talk about it. Games played, hobby thoughts.
Yeah. So hobby thoughts.
So
Yeah.
do we want to give our shout out now?
We
Okay.
want to give the shout out now.
Yeah. Okay. Huge shout out
Massive shout out.
to friend and fan of the show, Scotty, who hooked us up with Ms. Marvel and the Hulkman Ironbusters.
Hulkman Ironbuster.
You already started cranking yours out.
I did.
Got them together.
Correct.
You were showing them off. Interesting scheme you went. You went with some new techniques. You were trying new things.
I was.
Not really working out the way you'd hoped.
It's not, but I really had wanted to go a very specific route with them. I wanted to make it seem like Hulkman Ironbuster was the Hulk in the Hulkbuster outfit, rolling up his sleeves.
Yes.
And I was like, you know what? No. If there's one thing people expect from me and me alone, it's bees.
Yeah, accurate. Yep.
So, I decided that maybe going with the old Model 42, not Mark 42. Mark 42 is a very different color scheme than Model 42. So that's what I have decided to use as my canvas coloring on my Hulkman Ironbuster canvas.
Okay. All right. So you were trying to make some metallics. You're trying to mix metallics, actually.
Yes. Yeah.
So you have the color metallics kind of match your original suit.
Correct.
And then you were like, this is not working the way I thought it was going to work.
Right.
Slap it with an oil wash, baby.
I mean, that's what I do.
Yep.
If you've seen my work before, you know that when something doesn't go the way I want it to, I slap an oil wash on there.
Works for you every time. Might be waiting for that to dry, and then you're just going to go ahead and clean that baby up, aren't you?
Probably just going to clean it right up.
And then you're going to go with that pink glow on the thrusters and everything?
I am going with a pink glow on the thrusters.
Well, that's what that suit of the photo that you showed me had.
Yep. And
so I actually think it will actually look very nice.
I think it will too. I think it'll contrast very nicely.
Yes.
With what I'm doing in the rest of the suit.
Yep.
And similar to other statements I've made before, whether it's known oil or an oil wash, it's pretty much the equivalent of, just spit on it first.
Yep.
Except it comes after.
Right. Yep. It's like...
That's kind of just spitting in your mouth.
Yep. Head over to patreon.com/professionalcasual in about a month. And then you can hear the story that I was just about to tell. It's looking great, though.
It is.
You're going to have it done by Monday for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Without question.
It's going to happen.
And then you had talked about maybe taking your smaller Iron Man and reversing it, doing the black, yellow, and the yellow, black to make it stand out from your other Iron Man.
So that is number one, actually a really great idea that I had.
I think
shout out to Justine for that one.
Yep.
And I think that's solid.
Yeah, I think it's a super.
Or the other idea I had for it that I might do if I have time and haven't already gotten too far.
I don't know. I think you're pushing it a little bit.
Would be to sand down the arms and the legs and paint him in that very traditional white beater with the blue and white boxer shorts with the Iron Man mask on, as if he's just, drunk on a Saturday afternoon, Tony Stark, devil in the bottle, Tony Stark, in his bloomers, but the mask is on.
That would have been something you should have brought up before, I think.
That is something I should have told myself before. I may have just thought of it.
I actually really like the idea. I really like the idea of it, but he still has the one boot on, and that's why the thruster is still kicking on.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really, when Hulkman Ironbuster gets, unassembled.
Yes.
And he has to be kind of out of his element a little bit. I think that's a perfect representation of it.
Yeah. It's a really good idea. I might steal it. It's pretty smart. Hobby stuff from... what have I been... I haven't actually touched any MCP stuff.
Yeah?
I don't know. I'm still burnt out. I have a super secret project that I'm working on that I can't talk about for legal reasons. Legally, I can't talk about it right now.
Speaking of League of Legends, Arcane is awesome.
Oh, that's good. I don't play that game. Is it good?
The game or the show? Arcane is awesome. Like, stupid good. Whether you've ever touched the game or not.
Okay.
I haven't touched the game in years. And
is that the Netflix thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I saw it and thought, Yeah. I'll probably watch this once it's done.
Thankfully, I'm really creative and very good at assembling models because after watching that, I was like, oh man, I need to do Crossbones as Vi from Arcane, or maybe do like a Jinx model on like Crossbones, or like a Blitzcrank, but like on a Crossbones model.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, one of the best models to try to convert.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 Or Victor, but like get like an extra Crossbones model to do it with.
Here's the good news. They're only $10 on eBay most of the time.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they're like legit. Like they're one of the cheapest like core set models you can still grab.
I mean, I almost can't afford not to do that.
Right. It sounds like a great project for Dan. I also and I've been doing a bunch of other non-MCP stuff. We of course over in the Discord we have our end of the year painting competition.
The Odie.
Yes, and I'm painting up totally not Masters of the Universe models from our good friend Modest Miniatures. So
Ooh.
I'm really excited about that. And Pony Danza, friend and fan of the
Yeah.
show, and I are getting into Shane Sutter's Sludge from Blaster Volume 3.
Sludge.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. So him and I are kind of like building our armies, and we're going to meet up, I think, this summer, I think is the plan.
Hell yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Right around the time for Big Chucker Fest.
Big Chucker Con.
Big Chucker Con.
Yeah, Big Chucker Fest is later in the year.
Oh, gotcha.
We're going to skip it this year just because,
Oh.
restrictions are still there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to risk it. We saw what happened last year,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
you
true.
know? Yeah.
We could do like a digital Big Chucker Fest.
a digital
like
Big
for the
Chucker
winter.
Fest. That's true. We could.
I mean, January,
All just hang out in that Discord and everybody talking over each other. It could be a lot of fun.
January is winter Enos.
That's true.
So
That's true. Of course, patreon.com/professional casual. As little as $1 get access to our Discord. Help us support this show. Tim, let's talk about a bunch of stuff.
yes.
Let's preface this entire episode by saying I don't like any of these changes, but I don't know why I don't like any of these changes.
Yes. That's actually a really good way to put it. In that all of these actually seem pretty just.
Yeah, but for some reason, I'm still not happy about it.
Right.
And I think maybe it's because for like Ebony Maw's changes, it's just not what I wanted to see happen.
Yeah.
Corvus and Proxima, because we're going over the Black Order.
Correct.
Corvus, Proxima, Ebony Maw, and then of course the changes to
Two gems.
Two
Yeah.
gems.
Space and time.
Yeah, I don't. All right, let's get into it.
Yeah.
Corvus Glaive.
Corvus Glaive, who's already been updated since the update because they accidentally gave him 4 energy defense for like a hot minute.
How'd that happen?
I don't know.
How do you do that?
So obviously
he was 3s across the board prior, right?
he was 3s across the board.
So how'd they bump it to 4, and then be like, "Oh, that was a bad idea," and then bump it back?
I don't know if I don't know if it was intentional. I think someone just slipped in, just like just put in another
Yeah.
energy defense in there.
Well, in the heat of the moment, happens.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're in there. You're trying to get foot pictures from Dallas. It makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, and to be fair, he did out of the 3 of them receive the harshest debuff.
I agree.
I don't like to say nerf.
Sure.
But the big thing
I will. Nerfed into the ground almost.
So the big thing about him that they changed
Made him useless. No point in ever taking him.
pretty much. So the death,
Hits like a 3, but now he's a 4. You know what I mean?
yeah, he does hit like a 3.
He hits like a 3.
because he has a
Strength 5 builder.
strength 5 builder.
Yeah, and well established.
Thankfully, not thankfully, because once again, it was a massive sacrifice for Bullseye to go to a 2 threat because now the scales have shifted and
Yep.
there are more 3 threat, 5 strength builder characters in the game. R.I.P. Bullseye. But the big thing that they changed, they didn't change the strike at all. They also did not change Atom Splitter. But what they did change was how Death Blow triggered its flurry, in which they made it from, I believe, just a wild to a wild and a block.
So we're seeing this across the board on almost every flurry attack.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of people who have flurry that hasn't been changed yet. I don't know. I don't know if anyone has.
They changed it on both Medusa and Valkyrie, correct?
Yes.
We, as far as where we're no updates to Okoye, she does have a flurry.
Right.
Um,
Yet. There's still
correct.
time.
Yep. Sabretooth, granted his Savage Finisher, I believe, was a hit and a crit, or a hit and a wild.
Yeah, something like that.
So it
yeah.
already had kind of some form of that baked in.
Right.
I'm sure there's other ones out there.
Do you think they're overvaluing Flurry at this point?
No, I think Flurry is a very powerful tool.
I think
I think
it is. I'll agree with you.
Yeah.
And but I still think Flurry on a wild would have been okay. I think specifically on this death blow. Well, no, because it's still a strike. I was thinking he gets a strike with death blow again, but he doesn't.
He can make a strike, but it's an untargeted strike. It does not have to hit the initial target,
Right.
which is why I feel like they may have gone a little bit harder with this one. Because I could see it in other situations by, if it triggered on a wild previously, having it trigger on a wild and a hit.
Yeah,
Block makes it seem like it's
that seems goofy.
a little far.
Yeah,
A little far.
and all of the changes have been critical in a wild, haven't they?
Yeah, normally.
Right. So I think I
far
would.
as
I think I would have
recall.
been okay with it if as long as it was a hit in a
Or
wild.
wild and a hit.
Yeah, something like that.
But at least that's how we've seen Savage Finisher go.
Right.
With Sabretooth, which I believe is a hit and a wild, and is also his spender, and is also an unspecific targeted attack.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have liked to see this one there, but he does get the move after the initial attack, so if he does trigger, he can move an attack. It is range 3, so it provides significantly more options, potentially, by having a larger range to be able to target other targets with that flurry. But still, the big change being really, and Ravensguard brings this up, he should be a 3 overall. He doesn't have immunity to poison. He's pretty much a useless character.
Yeah, I mean at this point, I wouldn't go that far. I would still say he's a 4. But let me ask you this:
Yeah.
Death Blow with Fury now having to have a wild and a shield. Do you think this hurts Glaive's Edge more?
Oh yeah,
Because
absolutely.
now you're not
You're fishing for more things that you shouldn't be fishing for.
right.
Yep.
And would I rather count my blanks?
Mhm.
Or try to get the reroll of a blank into something else and then potentially lose both.
Right. So at the end of the day, whether it's a crit or whether it's a failure or whatever it is, as long as it only has one representation on the die, really you're not any worse for wear if it's one or the others. At least this, I suppose, as a somewhat silver lining, gives you some benefit to rolling something that would not normally be an attack success like it would if you rolled a hit or a crit. But
Right.
it's marginal at best. And it's not like it increases the odds in any way, shape, or form. It's just,
Yeah,
it's an
fair.
extra fry at the bottom of your bag when all of your other fries were stale.
That's actually a really good analogy. I like that. Okay, yeah. Yeah, all right. Let's talk about the biggest change that I really don't understand it.
Mhm.
And that's the husband of Proxima Midnight, and then the reverse of that being the wife of Corvus Glaive.
Yeah, so very legitimately, marriage is an institution that Atomic Mass Games really shouldn't be interfering with.
I completely agree.
Especially when you are talking about interstellar marriage.
Yep.
You can interact and potentially change institutions that exist in our world, on
Yep.
our plane of existence. But when you are talking about intergalactic law, I just feel like they shouldn't be making these changes so haphazardly.
Right.
To me, marriage is always between two entities that would like to kill things together.
Yes, agreed.
And the fact that they have shortened the leash on the things that they could potentially do while not right together, they should both be able to lead separate lives at range 4 apart.
Right.
This is kind of shackling Proxima to have to be closer to Corvus, which Proxima's baller as hell. She shouldn't have to make that sacrifice.
Right.
So that's where I'm at.
I will completely agree with you on that.
Yeah.
And follow up with it saying the fact that they also now are taking away the benefits of getting that tax break, for instance,
Right.
of the marriage, and now making it cost more, is absurd.
Well,
Shame on them.
to be fair, the tax break should be available to everyone. Everyone should be able to activate, someone that is important to them, however they define that relationship.
Yep, I
But
agree.
it should be within range 4, not 3.
I completely agree.
And free.
And free. Yep. Love is love.
More than 3 and free
Yes.
is on my side as I'm protesting this change.
Yep. Love is love and death is death. You know what I mean? Do it together.
Yep.
This is dumb.
Correct.
I don't get why they did this. We're not gonna see the changes with Sin and
Right.
Crossbones.
Yep. Correct.
So and now, granted, Sin Crossbones hitting is much different than Proxima Corvus hitting.
Yeah, that is fair.
Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. But if you're trying to make things consistent across the board,
Correct.
now granted, I don't think we don't play Black Order
We don't.
pure, especially pure, on the channel hardly at all.
Correct.
I think I did once, and
I certainly have a few times, but not in a minute.
have you played Corvus and
Yeah.
Proxima at the same time? Okay, I don't.
Yeah,
remember.
because I used them to execute the shit out of She-Hulk.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. But fair. That's what they
Yeah.
should do. It should cost you 2 activations to kill, She-Hulk. It makes sense. Plus you burn a tactics card.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. I maybe I need to pay attention to leagues more in that sense of like maybe it was just getting horribly wrecked and abused
Yeah.
or something, but like sure,
It is a long range.
it's
Like,
keeping priority.
and maybe the intent here was to make sure that you were doing it with intent, because when it's at range 4, it's just kind of like, I'm probably in range. Oh, I am. Well, range 3 is long enough to be forgiving, but also short enough that you have to actually...
I don't know, because there was at least one time where I was not within range 4 and I didn't realize it until after.
Gotcha.
So like, I just don't think it was. I don't think it was
Yeah.
necessary. I think there were the other caps on Corvus were enough. Also, was he able to always take the time gem?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've just
I'm not positive on that one. I'm not going to fact check it.
I feel like it was
but-
just. I thought it was just reality. I know everyone just only ever takes reality
Well, right.
on him because it's just better.
He was
Okay.
always able to take it. I don't know. So I had that same reaction
Yeah.
when I saw this new card. I was like, oh, wow, he can take the time gem?
Yeah.
Why have I never done that? Oh, because it's always on Thanos.
Right. That makes a lot more. That also makes sense.
Because he's just blasting people into dust.
Right. Makes sense. And then you just all you got.
And then all you got.
Then you all you got. But at the same time, and I'm gonna kind of agree with Dark Cow and Chad here. I honestly don't think that Black Order needed a nerf at all, unless it was Corvus and Proxima outside of Black Order, which was causing the problems.
Which,
I had heard that like they
Yeah.
were really good in Red Skull Cabal. A lot of people liked him there, and a couple other places. But I don't know. I don't like it. It didn't sit well with me. I
Right.
get why they did it. There obviously was reasons, and I just didn't see it.
well, and the thing that it opens them up to, and thanks to Ravensguard for pointing this out in the chat, but it can now be no more mutants. Because it has a cost. Because you pay the cost and then you counter it.
Oh,
Or it could also be
that's even
to a
even
lesser
more.
extent. Shh.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah. And especially now that Ebony Maw might actually see some play, that card's a lot more relevant.
Yeah, true. I don't know. I still
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't like it. I don't think it need. I don't think that's what needed the nerf between these two. Either so, what I've liked to have seen is keep it the same but make it cost 1, or reduce it to 3 and keep it free.
Yeah.
Which I think.
I feel that either of those is completely valid separately.
Yes.
I feel like together is
There's
just
a little much.
smidge of an overreach.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like a lot. And I guess I could argue now. I could see, especially with the changes to Corvus or the changes to gems, making
Yeah.
Corvus a 3 threat and always just taking a gem on him kind of makes more sense, I guess. But I don't know. I was rethinking it in my head. Proxima Midnight.
I mean, no changes to her really
Right.
outside of the wife of Corvus Glaive.
Right. I always forget she has more. Man, she is so good for a 3.
She is so good for a
Long
3.
mover, big base.
And a round thing in your face, you get sprung.
You get Starburst for sure.
Yeah, you get Quantum Starburst,
Yeah.
let alone.
Gosh, she's so good. I don't know why I don't take her more.
Yeah.
Probably because I always think, oh, I'll go to Corvus too. And like she's honestly, she stands better by herself, I think, than Corvus does.
A 3 threat with invulnerability, with a range 3 free attack.
Yep.
That has a placement and a wild effect. Quantum Starburst, which adds bleed, poison, and stun.
Yep.
And I don't know if you've heard of these before, but a 3 threat with a strength 5 strike that also has pierce on it.
Yep. It's pretty crazy.
Granted, outside that, if you take away the wife of Corvus, somewhat of a basic card in that there, you know what I mean? There's no
But still
throws, you
durable.
just have martial prowess. Oh yeah, she's durable as shit.
Yeah.
And a long mover.
Yeah. Your favorite.
Very much so.
Her defenses aren't the best, but she's also a 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and she has
But she-
martial prowess.
and she's,
if she really needs it. If someone's attacking her in melee,
She's 5'5".
Yeah.
Which is a little low. But again, a 3.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. The changes to marriage just kind of bum me out. But
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about your new boy.
Ebony Maw. So wow.
Yeah.
So I'll even say the energy defense increase was not needed here.
Nope. But I mean, here's the thing. Everybody was like, okay, energy increased defense, and he has the has he always had the ability that he gets to use unless you pay?
No.
Okay, so that's
He had to pay for it.
oh, he had to pay for it, they switched it.
So they changed it to reflect Mysterios. So previously it
And,
was if you want to use
Enchantress.
your yes,
Yep.
if you want to use your Mystic defense for other attacks, you can pay 2 to do it.
Right.
Which there wasn't a lot of counterplay around. You've effectively, and maybe people saw on Monday's stream, I suckered, like used the Tactics card sucker to drain him of power so I could actually put the hurt on him.
Right.
Now it turns into, well, now I can plan around it. I can either use my spender or use a strike and spend that power to make sure that he's actually using his physical defense. Now, granted, that only kind of works for physical defense now because they've doubled his energy defense.
Which is terrifying.
Correct.
But once again, as it's been said, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in their little tiny nose.
That's true.
You know, and he has the tiniest of noses.
He does.
But if you can hit it, it's over.
It's very accurate.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's kind of he's got the Volda nostrils,
Yes. Yep.
as it were. But they also increased the strength of his attack, his static builder.
He feels like a 5 now.
He does.
Like I would
Or at
I
least
will
closer to. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
see him as being aggressively worse than Cassandra Nova.
Yeah, I agree with that. But he also feels like, I mean, Mystic, which now we're seeing a ton of Mystic defense, but originally, like if this had dropped before Convocation came out, he would be terrifying.
Yeah.
Did he get an increase on his health too?
He did.
Okay, I don't remember him ever being that high.
He got 2 more health, I believe, on his injured side.
Yes.
Is how that ended.
I mean,
up
he
playing
feels
out.
like a 5.
Yeah.
He never felt like a 5 before.
Correct. He was an adequate 4 previously.
And telekinetic powerhouse.
Yeah, so now you can't just throw stuff at him either.
Yep.
Granted, he has a lot more ways to be regularly spending that. Well, I guess not a lot more ways. Simply, they've swapped one of the ways he had ways to spend power before to a different one.
Yep.
Because he no longer has to or can spend it for mind over matter. But
Telekinetic deflection makes him. I like that we're kind of seeing this again.
yeah,
Not seeing this again, but this is becoming more prominent that like people are immune to collisions as a way to block the throw spam lists.
yeah,
Yep. I really like that because as we all know, easiest way to get rid of somebody is to huck another person like a black dwarf into a Doc Ock.
it's 100% accurate.
Works great every time.
Works great every time.
In
Now
fact,
it
Doc
doesn't
Ock
work as well.
should have gotten like he has to pay and he doesn't count as collisions.
Yeah,
Just for me. Just
Right.
Just for me. Which also would make a lot of sense. He's got those arms.
he's got those arms.
He could catch shit. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Ridiculous. Telekinetic powerhouse. Was that always just terrain?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
But Herald of Doom got a cap on the size?
Some might say potentially. And if one wanted to confirm that, I think that this podcast would be a good place to confirm that, because we could go ahead and tell them something along the lines of, no, actually, it was always a size 2 throw.
Okay.
And that's why people come here first, you know?
That makes sense.
And they
Where
don't.
I would come.
They don't come
Nobody
here
comes
first.
here. Yeah,
And
nobody
you
likes the
shouldn't.
show.
But,
No.
but listen.
Yeah, if you're taking any of our actual advice, that's a bad idea.
Oh,
Unless
yeah.
it's a guest on the show, absolutely never take our advice on anything.
Correct.
Is it next week our show's coming out? No, 2 weeks. I don't know.
It'll be a minute.
Yeah.
But speaking of, this past week on Oh Yeah, the Power Phase, I apparently only half listened to what you and Lexa had said when we record that super secret episode that's coming out in the future. Because I thought it was, oh yeah, run Thanos in Web Warriors.
Nope, it's Spider Foes.
Yep. So I messaged Lexa of the Morlocks podcast, and I was like, "Hey, I'm planning on running that Thanos and Web Warriors list this week.
Yeah.
Do you happen to have that on hand?" She's like, "No, because it's Thanos and Spider Foes, but here it is." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
nuts."
When you posted that, I was like, that's weird.
To be fair,
But you were running Miles Morales, so I didn't want to say anything.
gotcha.
Yeah, because I was like, oh my god, he's actually running Miles? Oh, and he's running Gwen? What is happening right now? Literally was what I was like, but you kept saying, it's like, yeah, I'm running that list, and I just didn't have the heart to tell you, like, it's Spider Foes, bud.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
That affiliation makes Thanos fucking invincible.
Yes, it does.
There was nothing to be done. It was great. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. You fell ass backwards into that one, didn't you, bud?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a good call on your
You
part.
know, there are a few times when I have found something that works so incredibly well, and it is exclusively characters that have a decently ranged attack that can equip the time gem and just sit in the middle of the field and blasting everyone that moves.
Yep.
And it works very well with Doctor Strange, and it works very well with Thanos.
Yep.
And when you make Thanos even more survivable, which he doesn't need,
Right.
it's kind of just overkill.
It's
But it was very thorough overkill.
It was almost like you are the reason why the change to Time Gem happened.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So speaking of things that actually affect me very dearly in my heart, not quite at the level of Bullseye, but wow, was the fun pulled out from under me with this change.
Yes.
The Time Gem
Yep.
is now a recalibration matrix on a stick,
Pretty much.
which I'm sure some people like, but it's not 50% more attacks each round with Thanos specifically.
Right.
So what they did change is from taking it from a 2-threat gem with a 2-power ability where you just get another action during your turn.
Right. Which I will agree was
It was very strong.
very strong.
Very strong. To the point where when we've had other people run Thanos on the network and they don't do well, it's like, well, you can take the time gem because it's not that you have to. It's just you're dumb if you don't.
Right. You're automatically trying to play on hard mode.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not that they listen, I'm willing to accept that I just did that. You have to accept it too. He landed over there. You're fine.
I kept that spider alive for weeks. It's been weeks since the last time he
If it helps,
Sam Fishered down on
I
one
missed
of us.
him.
Oh,
So he's
fair.
just over there crawling now.
All right, good.
Yeah, you're good. I am real quick though.
Yeah.
I currently hold the record for killing most flies at my job.
Oh.
Yeah. If you ever need to know how to kill a fly, real quick, flies take off like helicopters. They have to go up before they can go forward.
Yeah.
So instead of coming down on it, because they'll feel the change in the wind, so that it has time, you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna get like just above them,
Okay.
and you're gonna come in like this.
Yeah.
And when you do that, they literally fly directly into your hands. Kills them every time.
Okay.
Every time. You're welcome.
I really like that. Now I'm hearkening back in my childhood memory to those fly swatter clapper things. It was like a little gun that would like flap them closed.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yep. My KD ratio is incredible right now.
So, and granted, overall, as far as the changes to the gems, they're making them all one threat, which I actually do like that change.
I think that makes a lot more sense. It's gonna make Dan so happy.
Yeah, I think so.
But do you think this is actually worth it in the long run since we are not seeing characters come out that have gems.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's like, why are we retooling stuff that doesn't affect anything going forward? Like, why are we making this many passes at it?
Right.
Why are we changing the roster? And then why are we changing the way they're affected in the roster?
Yep.
And then how they have to be applied to things? And then changing them as a whole in general?
Mm-hmm.
My hope is it is, in fact, future forward. And it is because they will be releasing equipment or buffs or drugs that you can put on your characters for specifically one threat to give them additional abilities.
Sure.
So I think that this is a prelude to what we will see for additives to existing characters in the short-term future.
This is what
I will say it here now. It'll be announced before Q3 of 2022.
Definitely before Iceman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, without
100%.
question. Yeah, way before Iceman.
But like, so when Iceman, well, and they need it in play before Iceman comes out.
Right.
Very specifically because there's two Icemen as that we're all aware of.
Right.
There's Iceman, that is the man that is all ice.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is Iceman, the man that is all ice, that is also wearing winter boots for some reason.
Right.
So
Sure.
they need to be able to run both without having two different characters, Iceman in boots and Iceman without boots. Now you just have Iceman and can sometimes apply the equipment template of boots.
Makes sense. I get it. Tracks for me.
Future forward.
Yep. Now here's the thing. I don't think any of that's actually going to happen.
Oh, fair.
What I think we're going to get is I don't know who it would be with. Maybe they're going to drop. They're going to drop like an Adam Warlock and Eros. Or like another person who might be considered a gem bearer without being a gem bearer necessarily.
Yeah.
And they're going to come out with a tactics card that counts as 2 slots, which is why we also saw maybe the increase. A tactics card that comes out with 2 slots that will allow any character you play it during your roster building.
Yeah.
And it lets a character take a gem even if they're not a bearer.
Yeah.
But maybe it's gonna like more than just cost 2 slots on your tactics card, because I feel like 1 slot is broken.
Yeah.
But maybe 2, like taking up 2 tactics slots, meaning you only get to bring 3 tactics cards with you.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Both in the roster building phase and in the squad building phase, it takes up 2. Or something like that.
Yeah.
It just seems super. Like I know that they're trying to restructure everything and they're trying to make things more balanced.
Yeah.
And I do like that all the gems are becoming 1 threat, mainly based off space. Although I also took it as the cost to play it was going to go down, like the power cost was going to go down. So I was like super hyped because Space Loki is my favorite.
Yes.
And the fact that now he's still a 4+1 threat character, with the space gem, got me very excited. But it still costs 2.
Correct.
And they're still overvaluing being able to move characters, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's just me. I think that they much more overvalue you being able to move your opponents versus you being able to move your own.
Yeah. Yeah, they treat them about the same. The mind gem and the space gem, same cost, both to activate and threat-wise, like previous to this change, which I always thought was wild.
Yeah.
Like, the abilities that can move your own characters are, like, pretty variable, pretty accessible for the most part.
Yep.
Things to move your opponent's characters against their will, especially advances,
Yeah.
are pretty rare, and the fact that they thought that those were equal in measure,
Yeah.
honestly, a little odd to me.
Yeah, it was
But
weird.
always headed for the mind gem on Thanos instead of the space gem anyway, specifically because of that.
Right. Although I do like hopscotch Thanos with a space gem sometimes.
Yeah.
Getting him into positions that you need him to get him into. Just making
with 2 teleports around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it never takes actions. So he can just especially if you're not, especially now with the change to time.
So legitimately,
Yeah. Much more terrifying.
like before that change, even with that change, well, yeah. So pre-time gem change, you were effectively potentially having 5 actions a turn.
Yep.
3, your normal 2, 1 with the time gem, and then 2 moves. One of which was free with the time gem, and the other one which only cost you 2
Right.
with cosmic whatever relocation
Yeah.
or
No
whatever,
breathing.
or whatnot. Yeah.
Thanos doesn't have to pay for the threat, right?
Thanos doesn't have to.
Or no, he has to pay
use
for the cost.
power,
Yeah, the power. So this actually makes Thanos better because it keeps your threat lower. If
Yeah.
all gems across the board
Yes.
are one threat now,
Mhm.
you can probably take
now
another
Thanos is
2-threat character. Yeah.
Correct. So now Thanos is a maximum of 8 threat, when
Right.
before it was 10.
Right. Which
So-
I actually kind of like.
Yep. Brings down his average threat value.
And he can take all of them. So that's 3. But he can take up to 3.
2.
2. He can take up to 2. So that's 2. And then you've got, so that's 8 threat right there. Maw's going to obviously probably take 1. Because if anything, you just want the extra power on him.
Yeah.
And he can take Mind in space?
I believe so, yeah.
Yep, Mind in space. So you're probably going to put the Mind gem on him. Put the Space gem on Thanos. Put the Power gem on Thanos. Put the...
Reality gem on Corvus.
Yeah, I'd still keep the Reality gem on Corvus.
Yeah.
And then, so that's 5. 6 is 11. Plus 8.
You can't run them all.
19. That's 19 threat.
Right.
Right there.
Because Corvus can take 1, Ebony Maw can take 1, and Thanos can take 2. So you can only take 4 with that particular group if you're running just vanilla Black Order.
Right. I was just trying to figure out if you actually can squeeze everybody in now.
Oh, gotcha.
At a 20 threat.
Yeah. 8, 6, 14. Corvus would then be a 5. Yeah, no, you can't.
No.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot there.
Poor Black Dwarf.
Yeah.
Black Dwarf's just, I don't know. But do you really need...
And why did we not see a change there to Black Dwarf? I feel like there was a very easy one, and it was changing his steroid to be a charge.
Is it not?
It's not.
Granted, well, they haven't dropped it yet either.
Enforced Oblivion? I mean, I feel like they made a declarative statement, and they might not have, but when you release most of them, unless they're going to update Thanos, which I wouldn't mind seeing an update to Thanos, but I don't necessarily think there's anything he needs or is lacking.
No.
But Enforced Oblivion on Black Dwarf should just be a charge.
Oh, yeah. That's a weird one.
Yeah.
I don't like that power.
Or make it not cost an action.
Right.
You know, I think there's 2 very easy changes there, and those are it.
Crazy thought. What if we just made him a 3? Keep everything the same, but you just make him a 3 threat.
Yeah, I guess he's just... So, and here's the thing. Legitimately,
Yeah.
Black Dwarf is a bad Luke Cage.
Yeah. He's in a more expensive
Who can throw heavier things.
Yeah.
That's it.
I almost would say knock him down to a 3, make his builder a 5.
Oh, and Black Dwarf's not immune to bleed.
That's
Luke Cage
that's a good point.
coming out on top again.
Luke Cage getting it, baby. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think there's some stuff that could have changed with Black Dwarf.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. These changes are super weird. I walked away not knowing how to really feel about all of it.
Yeah. I don't feel like it's over the top. I feel a couple of the changes, very specifically the marriage stuff, could have been done a little bit lighter and would have still satisfied the goal that they were trying to meet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the time gem change. So very legitimately, instead of getting that extra action, it is now before the calculate success or failure step at the end of the modified dice step of the attack. It may use the superpower. The attacking and defending characters reroll all of their attack and defense dice, including failure results.
So I do like that.
Yeah.
I do like being able to reroll skulls.
Yeah. I mean, if you whiff and you know you whiff, or you do well but they block it all, you can kind of see at the modified dice step how things are going to go. I don't hate it.
This is the thing that Stranger already has, right?
No, kind of. He has half of this.
Half of it.
Where he can re-roll all of his dice.
Right.
This
All or
forces your
nothing.
opponent to re-roll theirs as well.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. Like it's different. It's a little much.
Yeah.
Crazy enough, I think I would have rather have seen increase in threat cost increase in cost and kept it the same.
Yeah.
Make it like a very expensive gem because an extra action is brutal.
Yeah.
As we saw.
Mhm.
Although it pretty much is always taken on Thanos, so increasing the cost of it doesn't hurt Thanos.
Correct.
Unless you made just a little advocate or something that was like Thanos has to pay the cost or whatever. But also, there aren't a ton of time gem bearers.
No. It's Strange, Corvus, and Thanos.
Yeah. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
You know? Like, why?
That's the only people that affects.
Right.
Who have Corvus, at least, has already received kind of a debuff.
Right.
So
I do like
just
Corvus.
kinda
I like
adds
Corvus with a time.
yeah.
I like Corvus with a time gem. I think I ran it once because I put the reality gem on Thanos.
Slim Thanos.
Yeah. And I think I remember thinking, oh, this isn't bad. I get why people put the reality gem on Corvus, but also every time I ran reality gem, it never paid off for me.
Yeah.
It was never worth it for me.
Correct.
So
Yep.
I don't know. Bunch of nerds anyway, don't know what they're doing.
But buff on the space gem. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm hyped for it.
Same still power to activate.
4+1 Loki. 4+1 Loki is my favorite ever, no matter
A
what.
5-threat Loki is now
Not existent. It's not a real thing. He's never a 5 threat. He's a 4 threat, and then you add 1 to him.
That's how
or
it is.
2. Or
That's
back.
how it used to be, but now that he has to exist on your roster with the gem on him all the time, unfortunately, this has looped around in a very unfortunate way for how I like to view things, in that I was wrong. I was right previously, but I'm now wrong.
Yeah.
It is very odd and inconsistent for me to have been retroactively found incorrect. Normally, I know I'm wrong and say it anyway.
That's true.
Um,
It tracks.
This time, I have been enforced to
Right.
be incorrect or joking, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is, I suppose.
It's true. I like it. I like it. I just wish, I don't know. Again, these are just a bunch of changes that didn't matter. It's
Yeah,
cool.
they didn't affect us exclusively.
Yeah.
Which means, honestly, who cares?
Yeah, it's
I'm
like
sure it affects a lot of people, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, this is my favorite. This is the only thing that I've run." Shout out to Ben, who
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, I can just buy the Black Order guys. Those guys are pretty cool." And then like, I have an army that can play everything, and I was like, "Yeah, just go for them. You don't need anyone else. They're really good. They're not going to change them." So,
Sure.
sorry, Ben. My bad.
Whoops.
But
Oh well.
yeah,
What are you gonna do?
what are you gonna do? Womp womp.
Womp womp. All right, let's fill some time, bud.
So, this past Monday,
Yeah.
Taylor and I played on Oh Yeah, the Power Phase.
Sure you did.
Last 2 weeks, we've been running some custom Crisis Eye. And this past week, we did a new 19 threat secure objective called Full Moon Erupts Dormant Magic in City Streets. It was played on map F, which is the 5-point secure map. So 1 in each kind of corner and then 1 dead center. The outer points were all arcane ley lines, which you could interact with. When you did, you rolled a die. If you rolled a crit, hit, or wild, so kind of basic 50% chance, your team was then controlling or securing that arcane ley line. Interacting with it at all gave you the Hex special condition, and you could only interact with those points if you did not have Hex.
Okay.
Then in the center, your team, if it was controlling it, scored 1 victory point for each one of those 4 arcane ley lines you were controlling. But only if your team had more characters with Hex in the center. The idea being, you get some latent magic from one of the arcane ley lines, you bring it to this condenser, and that is how you score your points. You only count as contesting it if you have Hex. So characters like the new updated Ghost Rider could still interact with the ley lines to control it for your team, but would not be counting as contesting the center point, which is what actually scored the points.
Okay. Interesting.
So you wanted to keep Hex on you. And when I chose that to be the debuff that you kept, I was like, well, it's annoying, but not overwhelming. It's not trying to control a point with Incinerate or Shock on you. It's not removing dice from your pool, but it has the potential to remove dice from your pool. It's not stun, which who cares? Just keep stun. You know what I mean? It's not one
Right.
of the lesser ones. It's not poison, which would just annihilate anyone's availability to do anything ever.
Right. Accurate.
So
Seems to be my case when I get it on me.
right.
Yeah, no?
So Taylor and I both played actually kind of low character count lists. He was playing an all Mystic powerhouse list. He had Scarlet Witch, Ebony Maw, Mysterio, and Mr. Sinister. I was playing Slim Thanos with the Time Gem and the Mind Gem. Oh, his Ebony Maw also had the Space Gem. I also had Miles, Gwen, and Peter Porker? No. Who was my fourth?
I don't remember.
I forget.
Oh, Black Cat.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Daredevil?
Nope.
Was it it was because you ran Web Warriors.
Yeah, so it had to be another Web Warrior.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Peter Porker.
Don't remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, Venom.
Oh, Venom.
It was
Yeah.
Venom.
There you go.
I forget that he was there. 'Cause
Yeah.
He got pushed once and could never make it back into the fight. So,
That's about right.
but it worked out well. I actually really liked that additional layer there of having the hex kind of defining whether you were able to interact or secure things, because there was a couple points where it was like, well, I interacted with the ley line, I did not roll well, I still got the hex special condition, so I couldn't just sit there and try again next round. I either had to figure out a way to get rid of hex or have them go do something else. We played it with the legacy virus as well, which added another layer to that scenario as well, because at the end of a character's activation, if they were holding a legacy virus, they could remove a special condition. So there was a bunch of points where Thanos was on the center point, the arcane condenser, which is the place that you had to control to score any points for the secure objective, with Hex, with a legacy virus thing. And I was like, well, it's at the end of my activation that I can remove that special condition. But if I do that, Thanos will not count as contesting for those points at the end of the round. So I kept Hex on me with many opportunities to take it off, but had to have it to get those points.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay. Sounds interesting. Sounds fun.
it was fun.
I mean, Taylor is the guy to bring that against, like to try something new with.
Yeah,
right?
I thought so.
How did you feel about your team specifically? Running Miles, arguably for the first time, or pretty close to the first time.
Yeah, I certainly have not run him often.
Yeah.
That is very accurate.
Did you like him?
Effectively, no one on my team mattered except for Thanos,
Okay.
which granted was 9th threat of my team,
Right.
but I
Did you-
kind of didn't need anyone else. So
Did you feed everybody? Like, did you use them to feed to Thanos? So, like, for instance, did you use Venom to web snare people into
No,
Thanos?
I tried. I kind of ran him up one of the flanks. He grabbed a legacy virus very early, but was set against Mysterio, who just moved him over there and didn't want to deal with him. And then it was just like, I'm so far away that I'm not going to be able to get to the places I need to get.
Gotcha.
Taylor did an incredible job, by the way, only attacking Venom with Scarlet Witch or range 4 attacks. So I was never in range to attack back with so many snacks. Did a solid job there, and very honestly just completely nullified Venom's ability to perform.
Well, he plays Venom all the time, so
He
he,
does.
absolutely knows counters.
He absolutely knew what was up there.
Yeah, that made sense.
Miles and Gwen did, for the most part, nothing. Failed, I think, all of their roles to
Now-
get arcane ley lines.
That's super interesting
Yeah.
because Gwen is like usually the other 3-threat go-to for Black Order
Yeah.
because she keeps Thanos alive.
Here's the thing. Gwen got targeted hard.
Really?
Gwen was like dazed and then dead. Like she got
Oh.
the brunt of it. And I don't know if it was, I believe Taylor may have thought that Gwen had spider senses, which spider senses don't work, by the way, against any mystic attacks, which are the only attacks he had.
Is that correct?
So it's not a great matchup in that respect for me. But yeah, he obliterated her. Like was just like,
Yeah.
well, I feel Thanos is too strong, so I'll just beat up this little girl.
It's accurate.
And it worked.
Taylor loves doing that. That's
Yeah.
that's pretty much his mindset in everything he does.
Correct.
Yep. Makes sense.
So, yeah.
All right, that's kind of neat.
But it was a fun game. I was really happy with that particular Crisis. It's up on the Discord for people that have access to that, either via the Patreon or for throwing us that free Amazon Prime Twitch sub over on the Twitch.
That's what we do.
And we also have the first week's up there as well, which was the Motorcycle Mayhem one.
Yes.
This next week, this upcoming Monday, or yesterday if you're listening to the podcast version of this, Dan and I will have played
That's about right.
Dan and I will have played the ketamine. I believe it's going to be called something along the lines of Mass Vigilante takes really specific stance on trying to clean up the streets. So
all right.
It's like
so are you
ketamine
guys...
for cash. You know what
Sure.
I mean? Moon Knight is trying to clean up the streets. Bring him your ketamine. He'll give you money.
Right. It's like cash for guns, but
Correct.
But ketamine.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Are they that cold upstairs? Good Lord. Anyway, so you guys are going to run a custom scenario with new models, most likely.
Yes.
Okay.
So I am almost done completing my
Hulkman and Iron Buster.
Hulkman Iron Buster.
That'll be dope.
And I know Dan is working on Miss Marvel as
That's why he's not here.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was like, screw you guys. I need to get these models done because I have not been able to paint any MCP models for months.
I mean,
It's all he's been talking about.
Yeah.
Literally. Also, I don't want to say it out loud, but told you guys. Because we are in the States supposed to get Blade, Dormammu, and Moon Knight. So unless Anthony is specifically trolling Dan, which I absolutely actually really love and adore, we have not gotten a shipped notification yet.
yeah, we were supposed to receive Moon Knight, Blade, and Dormammu, or Dormammu Melkers.
Yes.
And our hands have come up dry once again from those Dormammu
Empty
Melkers.
and dry.
Empty and dry.
No jiggling at all.
No. No. So, yeah.
All right. Anything else?
No, that's all I have.
Any new wish list stuff?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Dazzler.
Yeah, I would love a Dazzler. Would you rather have like probably 90s Dazzler with the like bomber jacket and suit?
I want like Shield Unity Brigade Dazzler, where they like brought her in as like the PR person, and she turned out to be an absolute badass.
Yes.
Tactically deployed against Black Bolt to just hand him his asshole.
Yep. Yeah.
That was one of the best hard counters I have ever seen in comics, and I adored it.
Yep.
Of why did they bring Dazzler? Black Bolt gets ready, charges up that thing, and she just knocks him on his ass with his own power. Was just delightful.
Yep. It's an absolute delight, and the fact that then the rest of the Inhumans are like, Dazzler's not gonna be there, right? Like just scared. Also,
right.
I absolutely just love the overall storyline throughout the entire Dazzler life arc, that the Juggernaut is the biggest Dazzler fan in the Marvel comic universe.
Yep.
That he cried when he thought he killed her by running her over because he wasn't paying attention. It's one of my favorite absolutes. I'm such a big fan. I can't believe I did this. That's how true villains are made. You know what I mean?
It really is.
Yeah.
No, some characters that I would like to have, like a short list. Moon Knight would be great to be able to have. Blade, Dormammu.
Came out through my nose.
Maybe a new Doctor Strange, or like a Doctor Voodoo. Maybe a Hood. Maybe two different Hoods.
Oh, like
maybe
a possessed version and a not possessed version? Yeah.
Leah, just really knock it out of the park. Baron Mordo.
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day we'll have those types of characters in this game here in our hands that we can play here at the Professional Casual Network, but it's not now.
Not happening. Maybe by 2022.
We did.
You know what I'd also love?
What?
Officially released updated rules for, like, let's say the last 50 characters.
Ooh.
Or maybe like the first 50 characters.
Yeah, let's start with the first.
Yeah,
50.
you know what? Maybe the first 50 characters would make a
Yeah.
lot more sense.
Did that get delayed too, or is that still intended to be this month?
I'm going to believe it when it's in my hands.
Yeah.
Much like how I treat my job when they make me promises that I know they're not going to keep, I'll believe it when it actually is in my physical hands and I have it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. I am a true believer when I can download the PDF of it as well officially.
Yep.
To be able to use on the Power Phase on Monday nights at twitch.tv/professional casual network at
What-
7 p.m. Eastern.
There is a part of me that will really enjoy when they release like the last of the updates,
Yeah.
right? Like the last of the preview updates. And then they just go, that's it. Oh, yeah, go find them in all of our original posts.
We've compiled them very conveniently over the last 7 months.
Just scroll through panel to plays. Most of them are there.
That's true.
Yep.
That is true.
Yep. That being said, I kind of would like an Eternals run.
Yeah.
I think they would be I don't know if they would sell very well.
I just want to be able to say in every game, "Oh, Gilgamesh!"
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of really interesting character building. They actually did a very good job character building in that movie.
Yeah.
Which I was not expecting them to do. And got some teases for Phase 4 stuff. So
I did hear that it did set some things up.
it did. Not as much as I was under the impression that it was going to do.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people were like, you have to go see this because it's going to set up a ton of stuff.
So, and that was the thing, was I was like, listen, I'm excited for Black Knight.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Kit Harington. I actually really adore Camille Nanjiani too. So
Yep.
I was super happy that he was in this movie. So I'm still excited to go see it, but I'm going to go see it, and I'm going to spend the 2 or 3 hours that it is, so I can see the stingers at the end, for the most part.
They were interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't hate them.
Okay.
I was expecting more, but I also had to go look them up. Like, I had to go look up the post-credit scene.
Oh, okay.
The actual, the second post-credit scene. Because they always do, that midway one.
Yeah.
Which was good. It was funny. But the actual post-credit scene, I was like, what is this? What is this what is this reference to?
Yeah.
I originally thought, for some reason, thought it was going to be Null. Like, that's what they were setting up.
Oh, gotcha.
And then I actually Googled it, and I was like, oh. And then a friend of mine was like, yeah, you didn't know that was that? Like, you didn't know that was the setup? Apparently, you've never read those comics. And I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't know that. And they're like, yeah.
All right, we're going to talk off camera real quick. Remind me this time, because I always forget.
Yeah.
But yeah, Morbius. I would like a Morbius model because it fits in with the
Spider-Verse stuff?
no, the other one that Blade leads,
Midnight Suns.
Midnight Suns.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
So.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd also like to see Magic on the Midnight Suns.
Yeah. That'd be kind of dope.
Mhm.
I'm sure they're going to do once Magic is dropped.
Right. I mean,
I'm
Miss
sure they'll-
Marvel is released in some areas of the world
Right.
and has zero affiliation connection so
Right.
far. So
It's only a matter of time.
yeah.
Because as we all know, unless it's in America, it doesn't count. So,
Correct. Yep.
just like all those other sports
Mhm.
that we always hear about.
Yeah.
Don't matter if we don't play them.
Yeah. Apparently, Europe's been playing football wrong for a long time.
Yeah. Guys, get together.
Yeah.
Come on. Wait, rugby? What is that? You guys don't wear pads? Come on.
Come on. Safety first. That's what America's all about.
Yeah, exactly. That being said, true believers. I've been Chuck. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah. I'm really glad
Chucky
you were here.
Two-Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, special guest.
It's nice to see you.
Yeah. This Monday, check it out. We are going to have at least a Hulkman Iron Buster for sure.
At least a Hulk man.
Most likely a Ms. Marvel because Dan's probably already got her done.
And here's the thing: is I'm saying it definitively right now. The idea that I had earlier to have Iron Man in his underwear and a tank top, I'm gonna do it. It's gonna happen.
Uh-huh.
Thankfully, Monday, no way in hell Dan's gonna flip Hulkman Iron Buster.
Yeah.
So you won't probably be able to see it Monday, but you will. You will.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Probably not though.
It's canon. We've said it here. It's canon. I've heard that's a horrible thing I've started.
that being said, true believers, till next week when we hopefully have more information for you to talk about. Because if not, it's going to be a long show. Bye.
Bye. Do 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 do.